So my name is Yossi Rachman. I'm Semperis Director of Security Research. I lead the security research team, which basically has the researchers looking into new vulnerabilities and creating the detection rules and the detection and protection capabilities built into the Semperis products.
So you're really core to keeping our customers safe.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
I'm Simon Hodgkinson. I'm the strategic advisor with Semperis and the former Chief Information Security Officer at BP. So what was really interesting from the report was sort of 60% of them said they'd been attacked. The really interesting bit was the 40% that said they hadn't been attacked. The reality is they're the people that don't know. And a lot of these big utility companies are very small. They don't necessarily have security teams to really understand what's happening. And the motivation behind a lot of the attacks isn't necessarily to cause immediate chaos and destruction. It's all about pre-positioning. It's about pre-positioning for future geopolitical evolution.
Just to expand a little bit, if you think about it, a lot of water and electricity facilities have old industrial control systems, SCADA systems. Those are tapped into their IT systems. Identity is the core for anything that goes on over there, and SCADA systems are most recently are not updated in time. Yeah. There's a huge load of vulnerabilities that aren't getting any patches at all. And if they are, then everybody is afraid to touch those systems and update them. That basically translates into threat actors already compromising those environments and on a geopolitical level just waiting for a moment in time to act, to cause operational shutdowns in those water and electricity facilities whenever it serves them.
Just a couple of observations on that. If you were going to create civil unrest in society, attack clean water. The other observation that I would have is that I worked in the whole operational technology space for many years. Typically, enterprise IT refresh cycles are sort of 3 to 5 years. In the operational space, you're talking a decade plus. So it's not just about new vulnerabilities that are coming into the environment. This pre-positioning has been asking for decades. And people talk about different jurisdictions, about them pre-positioning themselves. They've been doing it for decades. So this stuff is lying in wait already.
LLMs aren't part of our coverage. We're not an LLM-centric company, but we are an operational resilience company. And to that effect, LLM is just another vulnerable layer or another attack surface for attackers to compromise. And we know that LLM is an emerging technology. Security isn't yet built into that technology. Now, if you take into account the fact that LLM and other types of emerging implementations of AI utilize identities in order to obtain permissions and access data, organizational data, then those also need to be protected. That means that we as a company should also protect that. Part of our service accounts offering, an upcoming offering that we're working on as we speak right now, aims to cover all types of automated identities or non-human identities being used in organizations. LLMs, AI, emerging techs will utilize those identities, and we will be able to protect those as well.
Just again to build, I think this great answer, to build on that, we protect the lifeblood of a digital organization. And every organization is a digital organization now. So that whole identity platform, if that is down, your entire business is down. So when we're talking about how do we, the impact of AI, what we are there to do is protect that most foundational of assets, the identity platform. And we use AI to help us with that. But actually, AI won't exist without the identity platform being in place. Just to my previous answer, I think identity, if you think about the human body, the heart is the beating heart of the whole biology. Active Directory for 95% of the organizations is the same in the technology landscape. Without Active Directory working, none of your technology will work. So when we talk about protecting AI, without the identity platform, without Active Directory and Enter ID, you have no AI. AI is not going to be able to deliver that business outcome that you're intending to use it for. As a former Chief Information Security Officer of BP, who was a pretty federated company, it was like a game of whack-a-mole. You would have your core digital organization developing systems, but as digital got more democratized through software as a service, through marketing agencies offering things, you'd get all of these new bits of branded technology popping up across the internet. And our job was really to detect those things and make sure that they were secure before they were exploited by threat actors in the environment. That was incredibly challenging to protect that. So you look at the identity space, and I always find this quite fascinating. Active Directory was born out of a challenge to consolidate identity, to be able to manage that. It's done an amazing job of doing that. So in the days when I started in my career, identity was stored in all of the different applications and it was impossible to manage. Now you have all these software as a service capabilities cropping up, and you get people sign up with their @joeblogs.com email account, Joe Blogs being the company, thinking that they're part of a federated identity platform, and they're not. So all of this is just orphaned identities that are all over the internet now, storing company data. And that's a big problem. And therefore we need to use technology to identify what SaaS platforms are being used and what identities are being used there, to make sure they get integrated into the federated identity system so that we can manage that consistently and deal with the risk.
So I think the key is to understand that you will be compromised if you haven't already been compromised. Cyber attacks will happen. It's just a matter of picking yourself up once it does happen. And in order to do that, you have to be ready to identify vulnerabilities before an attack happens, be able to respond when an attack happens, and be able to contain it during and after the attack. For that regard, resilience must cover all 3 points of time: before the attack, during the attack, and after the attack. To that respect, I think we offer a lot to our customers. We've got DSP for the before the attack part. We've got IRP during the attack. We've got Ready One for both during the attack and after the attack, in order to make sure that companies are able to continue working and basically pick themselves up after a disastrous cybersecurity attack.
And I think you walk the floor in InfoSec, it's all about cyber, but actually it's all about operational resilience. So we don't sit here today to do cybersecurity. We're here to make sure the business can deliver the strategic outcomes that they're trying to achieve, whether that's a retail company selling stock in a retail store, a manufacturing plant building vehicles or what have you. It's all about protecting that business outcome. And the whole point of operational resilience is you've got the ability to withstand, as you've really clearly articulated, where Semperis is helping people before and during, but also to recover quickly after. That's the definition of resilience. And we have products there that will reduce your ability to recover Active Directory by 90% plus. So you're then down from days of recovery into minutes or hours, which is transformational in getting what you need back, which is your business operating, getting that minimum viable business back up and running.
Simon, what about making sure that the threat actors don't also get restored into your systems whenever you restore your AD?
That is absolutely brilliant, perfect question. What people do with a lot of the bare metal backup vendors, great vendors providing normal backup capability, is they'll recover Active Directory as it was when the attack occurred. But the trouble is, when the attack occurred, the threat actor is already in your environment. Either they got malicious software on the servers, the domain controllers, or they've got identities in the environment ready to be backdoors for them to get back in. What Semperis offer, which I think is transformational against all of its direct competitors, is the ability to recover with integrity. We bring the system back knowing that we've kicked the actors out. How do we do that? Through phenomenally good technology, backed with really strong process and brilliant people. You know, when you get an incident and you need to recover Active Directory, you're not alone. Semperis' mission is a force for good. We mean it, and we will be there to support you to get that integrity back into your platform. The other really interesting part of that is, and I've run lots of crisis exercises, bad actor in the environment. People's immediate reaction is shut everything down. That isn't necessarily the right answer for the business. It might feel like the right answer for the security team, but actually we're here to support the business to deliver their outcome. So having the confidence that you can continue running your business, knowing you've got a malicious actor in your environment, preparing to kick them out and minimize the time you're down in order to shut the directory services down, promote a clean backup, is a phenomenal capability people often forget.
Yep.
Semperis as a company has really moved into the resilient space. Ready One is a transformational platform that has just been launched at RSA. Ready One is a offline crisis management platform. By offline, that means essentially you've still got the capability to communicate through enterprise class communication systems internally. You have a consistent platform to store all of your playbooks, whether that's your legal playbooks, your comms playbooks, but also your technology playbooks that you've got. You've got the ability to capture forensically all of the decisions you've made through that incident. That is critically important when the regulators come in and want that background to why did you make this decision? Why did you do that? Why did you keep your business running, for instance, when you knew somebody was in your environment? And it gives legal then the opportunity to review that material in a consistent form, in a consistent platform, and where possible or where necessarily take legal privilege. And it also allows you to then make sure you've got the right rotors in place, and it's not something you're having to meet up on the fly. What we find in the incidents typically is the first 24 hours where people don't have a platform like Ready One. It is chaos. Nobody really knows what to do. Nobody really knows who to call. And with Ready One, it will be it will still not be pleasant, but it will be much more seamless.